IUS. Sit back, relax, and shut up.
Tonight on a special episode of Midnight Media Presents, it was a promising new season of Eventide Media Center, but it vanished, along with Channel 7, Analog Archives, Stargate Central, and all of the Tempest Universe films. Tune in as Gonzo and Sharp find out what killed Eventide.
The first one is Within Static, which has two versions, one I saved and the other one that was more publicly available.
All right.
Here's the first draft of it.
I'm Gary Papa, the entire Action News team.
Remember that.
Rated R.
And now, something seeping through the static.
Oh. Oh. Channel 6, what have you done?
Your local service provider has identified a Class S super entity spread event within the frequency spectrum.
Implying that they have entities that can go through the TV signals.
Due to the contamination exposure to the super entity, it is required by law. Oh, that thing's quick, and I got a message by Ricky. Get that so my mic doesn't pick it up.
Tell her fashion sense is tacky.
Oh, don't. All that remains, da-da-da-da.
No doxing.
On termination, proceed to the front entrance of your residence.
How do you know where I live, TV?
Assume a fetal position and wait for the arrival of authorities. Do not open your eyes. They will be taking you away, haha. They're coming to take me away, ho hee hee, haha, to the bunny farm. Now for some funky shit.
I guess you're not supposed to look at that. They say to go fetal position and not look at that shit.
The exact sound that I heard in Mandela Catalog Volume fucking 1. I tried to scream. The words would not flow. Trapped in the wires. I find myself alone. It told me to just that.
Alright. So it's pretty simple. Some kind of entity in the TV signals. Either maybe the spirit of somebody, or the person who was being warned got pulled into the TV. I don't know.
Now for the second version. It has a different beginning and a different way it ended, but some of the contents will remain the same. See if you can spot the differences.
Alright, let's see.
79.
I'm Gary Papa, the entire Action News team.
Remember that.
Rated R.
Here come the TV tentacles.
Same thing. Here's your instructions.
Following safety procedures. Dispose of your television. Destruction by fire. Destruction by explosive.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Fucking break it. Life is beautiful all the time, and I'll be happy to see this young white coats. I forgot how that went. Fuck me.
Yeah. Message terminated.
Local Watch Archives, October 79, internal footage. This looks kind of weird now, don't it?
Huh. The danger zone.
Statewide emergency systems currently active. High alert for following townships: Eventide, Somerville, Old Gosport, Evanston. Currently outside. Don't that look safe?
Very.
And that facing the static, but this time on a television screen. Missing. Redacted 32. Redacted 65. Redacted 19. Redacted 27.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, one of those faces looked like Obama.
It found their form would no longer be familiar. Alistair Blackburn.
No longer be familiar is right. What did that thing do to them?
And that's how this version of Within Static ends.
Wow, that gave us a lot more information. Ha, jump scare. But I wasn't scared. I knew it was coming for some reason.
There's also a short that was made that accompanied the next piece. This one's titled Funeral.
A strange man. There's just that one guy that feels really out of place. Okay, that's not good.
November 16, 1982. After I had returned home from the Crimson Creek Community College, I received word that my grandfather, Solomon Blackburn, had passed away. I have not received word on my inheritance. I have never
once met
Oh, there we
my
go.
grandfather.
Thanks. At the funeral, I was approached by a man in a trench coat who went by the name E. He offered me a position at the Eventide Valley Library and said it would be in my best interest to take up the offer. Evelyn Blackburn. So somebody from the Eventide Valley Center has approached her. A story begins.
E is for Eventide. That's good enough for me.
And then comes, well, the last ever actual Eventide video.
Was that actually supposed to be the last one, or is this just like where Eventide got canceled?
Yeah, this is where Eventide got canceled.
Canceled themselves, more like. Oh.
This was Crimson Creek. It's January 3rd, 1982. It's almost 8 o'clock. Time for a student broadcast. Now to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That'll show those Russians.
And now for the Crimson Creek News. With Nick Gallina, Evelyn Blackburn.
I'm sorry, wasn't Evelyn approached by E?
Yeah, that's her.
Is she an insider for Eventide?
She was hired.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to inform you that Crimson Creek Community College is declaring a campus-wide lockdown. If you are in a
Campus-wide
hallway or
lockdown.
bathroom, please make your way to the nearest classroom or dorm immediately. Again, Crimson Creek is declaring a campus-wide lockdown. Please make your way to the nearest classroom or dorm immediately.
Alright, make your way to a classroom or dorm immediately.
What's really going on at the Crimson Creek College?
A protest! No, wait.
Oh, it's a little worse.
A little worse.
An active threat has been identified in the Crimson Creek main building. Authorities have been alerted. So, what's
right.
this threat? Yeah, that's the threat.
Huh.
Gunshots heard.
I like the flickering lights. Ooh, that was actually pretty scary.
I don't want to die.
It's certainly horrifying, to say the least.
And there it is.
Oh, I see.
That was believed to be the reason why Aiden got canceled.
Because a school shooting happened in the story for some reason.
Yeah, I would have believed that it was a cover-up as to what was going on at Crimson Creek.
Yeah, they used a school shooting as a cover-up because in the background you can hear multiple guns are being shot.
Mhm.
It's possible that some kind of conflict rang out with the creature, and they tried to fight back the best way they knew they could. And then the government or whoever's in charge of like covering up these entities and shit like that decided to have it reported in the media as a school shooting. That seems like what happened in the story.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't necessarily unheard of in stories where governments will literally make up tragedies to cover up something bigger. They've done this on a lesser scale in like movies where there's like a monster in the woods. They'll just say it was like a wild animal attack or something. versus, alerting people to the fact that there's an otherworldly creature going out fucking eating people in the woods.
Yeah. Mm.
Broadly, I mean, I get it. It was a government cover up. Everybody died to the entity inside of that community college. So the government used a reasonable enough tragedy to purport all the deaths, which would have been the college being shot up.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning the only way to avoid that controversial scene would have been just for this video to not exist. Because if the whole premise was that there was an entity that killed everybody on the college campus, you needed some kind of way for the government to cover it up. Whether you chose a school shooting, a mass murdering, it doesn't matter. Now, I think in terms, that's not the worst I've seen.
A lot of people
Like-
would seem to agree with you.
Like, school shootings, definitely bad. But compared to other crimes or things that happen in the United States, school shootings are extremely rare comparatively. I understand a lot of the criticisms people have and stuff like that to make light of like tragedies and stuff like that. I would direct people's attention to the fact that there are whole groups of people in the public space that explain national tragedy with conspiracy, no evidence, and they don't care what you think. So,
Are we talking about Alex Jones's Sandy Hook bullshit?
Sandy Hook, 9/11, yeah, you name it. The vaccine situation, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, we got a lot going on. It doesn't seem like the creator was actually trying to make light of school shootings. It just felt like the appropriate cover story for an entity mass slaughtering people on a college campus, which is what I assume happened.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just Chekhov's gun. I mean, well, for one, there were guns being shot for a reason in the college campus. My assumption is that the few people that were armed on the campus were trying to fight back the entity. They needed an explanation for like all the bodies and shell casings and shit like that, so they just said, school shooting." Then they probably pinned the quote-unquote murders on one of the victims of the entity. Another possibility is this entity was mind controlling people to kill each other. So from the news's perspective, it absolutely did look like a school shooting. There's a lot of ways you could take like a one-off story like that. Very I don't know, I think usually like it's like this one media center, which is Eventide, but like the anomalies and stuff that happen with the entities are always isolated. They're not like tangential. They're not related.
Yeah.
These are just isolated incidents with entities.
But I believe what Aiden was going for with this second series was a story.
Oh, really?
At least I would believe so.
Yeah, because like Evelyn, for example, Evelyn Blackbird, the name that showed up, she got approached by Eventide, and we already know that there is actually something more going on with the Eventide Media Center than meets the eye. I was thinking it was going to go somewhere like an organization that tracks down and documents these anomalies or something.
Kind of similar to what Quarks and Rec did with Minerva Alliance, come to think of it.
Yep.
Mm.
And creators inspire each other. I'd say when it comes to like cancel culture, I have much more reasonable stances on it. I think one thing that's absolutely unreasonable is to say a bunch of things about a person's character you can't prove, or you take like these unrelated things and you try to make tangential attacks against a person's character with honestly no real proof. And then when people ask for proof, you block them. I think there should be like a kind of public zero tolerance policy for stuff like that if we want this kind of over the top behavior to ever end. There's probable cause for outrage, and I definitely think individual outrage has like a power. But it's become fundamentally clear to me that certain people who just crave attention try to use collective outrage as a means to get the attention that they want, or pretend or act like they have power over somebody, or just simply the power to destroy someone's life for being imperfect. I would say if you could take any individual person's sins, lay them bare on a table, any single person who has ever been alive was cancelable at least for one thing they did in their lives. Let's not make that the bare minimum expectation for humanity, which is be perfect, don't make these mistakes. And I always see the same shit of people like saying, well, just don't do this thing. And I agree. But I also think there's like a kind of loss there.
I mean, you
Of
got to
like,
present a reason why you should not do it.
well, I mean, the reason, in my opinion,
Hmm?
the reason for don't show a school shooting in media is because school shootings are bad and we shouldn't show bad things in media as a plot device. Mm. But then I would ask car crashes, building fires, child murder, genocide, um, carpet bombing, gas bombing, serial killers, cannibalism, sex crimes, emotional manipulation, abusive situations, drug abuse, alcohol, drugs themselves, texting and driving. All of these things you can essentially show in media. And that list is overwhelmingly responsible for way more negative in the world. You can show that in fictional media. Why is a school shooting off the table? That's my question. That's just me. I'm not bothered by it because I'm like I was when I grew up. I constantly saw action movies where people shot guns at each other. Breaking Bad, they did drugs. There are a few notorious movies with controversial scenes with the R word that we can't say on YouTube. Uh, Cannibalism, child murder, all of those things have existed in our media at one point or another. And while they've certainly been controversial, the same question comes back with they were still able to do it. And it is just fiction. And if we go in the area of personal expression of the simple principle of it's not hurting anybody, and we start to insist that it is, and we don't have to produce any proof that it's hurting anybody, just say that it is, I just wonder where the line is there.
believe I made a lot of the same arguments in my text. That
Yeah, it's it's the same shit. Like, I mean, without sounding too cliche, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. That's most of the people trying to cancel you are American living in America. So, you know, sponging up quite a few liberties that it often seems like people want to strip other people of, and I'm not there for it. In fact, it like raises the question of why anybody deserves those liberties if they'll just try and take those liberties away from other people. Age old question. We've asked it all the time, many different times, through many different generations, but I think the answer will always be the same. Unless someone is visibly, physically, or honestly, I'm not necessarily sure I would say emotionally. I would argue there has to be some sort of bodily or financial consequence that comes with words before words matter. So, in a lot of ways, I feel like cancel culture is a lot more dangerous than offensive speech. And what I mean by that is trying to destroy somebody's livelihood or tear their life apart because they didn't act appropriately by the societal context. I think it's far more damaging than just being a piece of shit, ironically enough. It causes tangible harm, and we don't address it. Unless, like, now being financially destitute is just not something we address. Being emotionally or mentally destitute is just not something we address anymore. Like, that's not a big deal, but these bad words, oh, that's a big deal. Yeah, it doesn't jive well with me. You could probably have this in like a separate video, honestly,
yeah,
just to address the shit with Eventide.
I'd say
I don't have a problem with my words being put out there or used against me or whatever. I know what I said and I know what I meant.
I think it'll be all in one video. It'll be a pretty good, decent length, anyways. And I think we can cut it there.
Yeah, I'm in support of the creator and to the guy who made Eventide, Aiden. You shouldn't have destroyed your channel out of spite. I don't think you should have ended Eventide to spite people that were mad at you or out of fear. I think by doing that, you essentially silenced yourself. Nobody could do it to you. You did it to yourself. And you shouldn't have. That's just my opinion.